Hey everyone, and welcome to your fertility pelvic floor class today. This class is aimed at anyone who's just had a baby at least 6 weeks ago and has been signed off by their doctor to say they're safe to start practicing physical exercise and yoga. And the way I've structured this class is it's purely based on working through your foundation, so purely on your pelvic floor. So I would normally have my clients working from 6 weeks up to the first 3 months, building their pelvic floor. And then after that, depending on their body and their strength, then working on the classes I have that work the abdominal muscles to rebuild the core. And then after that, they can participate in any of the 6 months plus postnatal classes or start practicing general yoga classes. All we're going to need in the class today, if you have one, is a block. If you don't have a block, then a nice book, thick book you can use. If you don't have one, do not worry. You don't actually have to have it. It's just a really nice prop to help with our pelvic floor. And all we're going to do today is start seated, cross-legged. And I really want us to start focusing on our posture, where we've been carrying baby. Maybe you're finding your breasts are a lot bigger and heavier. You're starting to hunch forward a bit more, like pulling the shoulders forward. So I want us to draw a breath in, find length through the sit bones, draw them down, lift up out the hips and imagine a string from the crown of the head up to the ceiling, lifting us up nice and tall. And as we exhale, we release the shoulders back and down the back. So just taking a moment here to find your alignment, find what's comfortable. If the knees are getting a bit tired, maybe you want to put your block, or maybe you want to put some cushions just under there so they can soften down. So take a nice long breath in through the nose, lifting up through the vertebrae. And as you exhale out through the mouth, release any stress and tension, softening them knees down. We're going to take the thumb and first finger into a triangle and just place it below the belly button so that the middle fingers direct down towards the pubic bone. And this is purely just so we can feel our breath at this point. And all we're going to do, and welcome yourself to close your eyes at any point in your practice, you're going to inhale the breath in through the nose. And as you inhale, really imagine the breath working its way all the way down into the pelvis. So really filling up the belly, drawing it down. You should feel it in the fingers. And as you exhale, starting to draw the tummy back in. And you should feel this with the hands. Just a reminder that naturally your breath will sort of come from the upper body, from up here, just from the shoulders and maybe the rib cage. But we're really trying to take a full drawn breath here. So let's start there. Maybe closing the eyes, inhale in through the nose. And exhale, release. Feel the tummy drawing. On your inhale, really expand the belly, take the breath all the way down into the pelvic floor. And as you exhale, feel it contracting, feel it drawing in and up. And then from here, we're going to start to introduce the pelvic floor exercise with our breath. So again, as you inhale, you're going to take a breath in, really visualize the air drawing down through the body, softening and widening the pelvic floor. And as you exhale, you're going to draw the pelvic floor muscles in and up as you contract the belly. Imagine everything getting a bit shorter and a bit tighter as you draw it in. Inhale, softening, filling up the belly. And exhale, drawing the tummy in, lifting up through the pelvic floor muscles here. A couple more here. And obviously you're welcome to pause the video at any time and continue this if you feel this is something you want to be working on a little bit longer. You could do it while you're sitting at the table, on the sofa, whatever works for you here. Just really starting to notice with the breath, drawing the pelvic floor in and softening. Nice. And then find your natural breath and just soften through that. We're going to bring the soles of the feet together. Just going to allow the hips to open here. So all we're going to do is take a nice breath in. Once again, find some length. As you exhale, just release the knees, release the hips, softening the thighs. If you need the blocks or your cushions, place them under your knees. That's fine. maybe interlace the fingers, take them around the toes, hold the feet, hold the ankles, whatever works for you, nice and tall. So we're going to take a nice lengthening breath in. As we exhale, allow the elbows to melt out to the side, the heart draws towards the toes. Taking a breath here, trying to work with our pelvic floor breath. So as we inhale, we're finding that softness. As we exhale, draw the belly in, draw the pelvic floor muscles up. Maybe start to take the chin towards the chest to get a nice upper back stretch here. It can be quite a nice stretch after having had a baby, maybe you've been carrying baby around all day. You just need to stretch the upper back. Wherever you are, just be really breathing into the pelvic floor. So as we inhale, we're softening and widening, and as we exhale, draw the belly in, draw the pelvic floor muscles up. Remember with your breath to still fill all the way up, down into the pelvis, into the hips. And as you exhale, draw that belly in, lifting it up. Nice. Inhale, let's find length vertebrae by vertebrae, sitting nice and tall. Take the hands to the knees just to assist the knees back together. And we're going to come to tabletop position. So what I'd like to be introducing is working the pelvic floor exercises into some poses that we will be doing throughout the course. So we're going to come through to a tabletop position, spread the fingers nice and wide, really press through the fingers, check the wrists are under the shoulders and lifting up, so we're not dropping into them shoulders, we're really drawing up out of the shoulders. The knees are hips distance apart, nicely stacked under our hips here. And we're going to work just with our breath to start with. As we inhale, we're going to lift the sit bones up, drop the belly, lead the heart forward, the gaze forward, pressing up through the hands. And as you exhale, tuck the tailbone down first, lift the spine towards the ceiling, the chin comes to the chest. Inhale, start with the tailbone lifts up, belly draws down, heart forward. Inner creases with the elbows, try to draw forward. And as you exhale, rounding through the back, really push up through the hands as the chin comes to the chest, the pelvis draws in a bit. And try and work this with our breaths. We're inhaling, dropping the belly, finding some softness. And as we exhale, draw the tummy in, draw the pelvic floor in. And inhale, cow pose. Softening when we're there. Exhale, tuck the tailbone, draw the belly in. Notice the contraction as you lift up through the pelvic floor. And let's inhale back through to a tabletop position. Again, knowing you can just pause the video and work through these as much as you need to. Just walk the hands further forward just a little bit. Tuck the toes under. We're going to come into our first downward dog, so let's be gentle here. For some of us, it might be the first time we've done any sort of physical practice since we've had our baby, so just go slow. So I want us to do is keep nice bent knees, lift them hips up to the sky, draw the hip back, pushing through the fingers, allow the heels to start to melt down. Be within your breath here, pushing through the fingers. The heels don't have to touch the floor, we're just working them towards it. And this is a really nice pose to start to naturally feel your pelvic floor muscles. So as you inhale, you're finding that the belly fills up, we're softening through the pelvis. And as you exhale, draw the belly in, lifting up through the pelvic floor. So keep working with your breath as you inhale, fill the belly. Exhale, draw the belly in and lift up the pelvis. And you just keep working through this, inhaling, finding some softness, exhaling, drawing the pelvic floor in, drawing the belly in. Nice, let's come back into a tabletop position. Just tuck the toes under, sit back on the heels. Just for a breath, this is just a nice way to work the fascia of the feet. I'm sure you've been walking around, standing on your feet a lot all day, so just not forgetting them. Just a little bonus. Just taking a breath here. We're going to come to lie on our back, and this is where you'll need your block or your book, and we will work through We're going to go through a belly breath first. So let's come to lie on our backs, bring the feet to the floor, knees to the ceiling, and just find your natural alignment here. And all we're going to do is find that diamond pose, fingers one more time, and take the thumb below the belly, the hands just pointing into a triangle down towards the pelvic floor here. And we'll work that belly breath like we did seated. This is a really nice one to do in bed in the morning or just before you go to sleep. And all we're going to do is inhale, fill up the belly. And as you exhale, draw the pelvic floor muscles in and up. And you should really feel the belly expanding. And as you exhale, imagine there's a corset around you. And as you exhale, it tightens up. So the waist draws in, the belly draws in, and the pelvic floor muscles draw up. And with this, we're then going to build on this and introduce some pelvic tilts with our breath. So you can keep the hands here for now. And just noticing the natural arch in the back here. Just maybe put your hand there to feel it, that's entirely fine. And all we're going to do is we're going to inhale here, and as we exhale, we're going to start to tuck the tailbone down. The pelvis is going to draw up. As we draw the pelvic floor muscles in, you'll notice the lower back meets the floor. You won't be able to have your hand through the back. And then inhale, softening, finding the natural arch, releasing the pelvic floor muscles. So you can keep one hand here if that helps, one hand to the back. So we're on our inhale here. As you exhale, tuck the tailbone, lift the pelvic floor up. Notice it's starting to contract. And inhale, release. I move my hand, maybe you can see it on me. Exhale, draw it down, draw the pelvic floor muscles in. Inhale, release back to a normal position, softening the pelvic floor. Again, exhale, drawing it in. Inhale, release. And we can start to introduce the block here already. So you can take the block between the thighs. So we're already starting to activate the pelvic floor, the hips. We're also starting to work the core a little bit. So if it's too strong, don't use the block yet. Otherwise, we're going to do exactly what we've just done with the block between our legs. So finding our nice natural position. Once we've inhaled, as we exhale, tuck the tailbone, draw it in, lift up through the pelvic floor. Inhale to release. Exhale, draw it in, imagining the corset tightening, the waist getting slightly smaller. Inhale, softening. And work with your breath here as you exhale to tighten. Inhale to release. Exhale to tuck the tailbone down, pelvis up. Inhale to find the natural arch in the back. Good. And then take the hands to the side. We should be in our nice neutral back here. I'm going to press into the floor with the hands. And we're going to come into a bridge pose. And when we're in our bridge pose, really like it if you don't turn your head from side to side. Just because when we're up on the shoulders, we compress the neck. So if you need to watch the video first and then do the pose, that's fine. Or just work with me listening as I try to instruct you as best I can. So if we've got the block can stay between the legs. If not, what we're going to do is when we're up in this pose, we're going to imagine squeezing the thighs together. They're not going to touch because the knees should be hips distance apart, but we're just going to really work on squeezing them together. The block just makes us have to do it straight away, otherwise it will fall between the legs. So squeezing the block if we have one. Hands to the floor. Working with that breath, so let's build on it again. So we're going to inhale, find the softness. As we exhale, tuck the tailbone, draw the pubic bone up as the pelvic floor muscle draws in. And then on our next exhale from here, we're going to start to lift each vertebrae. The hips come up. As we're going to come up onto the shoulders, squeezing them thighs together. As we inhale, slowly lower down. Soften that pelvic floor muscle. Take a breath in here. As you exhale, we're tucking that tailbone, lifting up. The pelvic floor muscles pulling in and up. As we lower down, inhale at the bottom, find that softness. Allow the pelvic floor muscles to relax. One more time, tucking the tailbone, exhale, lifting up, draw the pelvic floor muscles in as you really lift them hips up towards the sky. And exhale, lower all the way down, slowly, vertebrae by vertebrae. Once you come back to a neutral position, softening them hips. So all it really is the tuck in, exhale, releasing, inhale. But we're adding that bridge to really start to draw the pelvic floor muscles in and up, work the hips, start to work the core a little bit. One more time again then. Inhale, find a neutral position, exhale, tuck that tailbone down, start to lift up vertebrae by vertebrae onto the shoulders, lifting them hips up. Find your breath here as you exhale, vertebrae by vertebrae, lowering down. Inhale, find your nice neutral hips, neutral spine. Release the pelvic floor. We're going to remove the block from here. And again, just so I can show you, you can do it without, you just lift up, squeeze the thighs towards each other, and then exhale, lower down, and release. We're going to bring the soles of the feet together. We're going to come into our reclined butterfly pose. Again, take the hands to the abdomen so we can feel our breath. Really inhale, fill up the pelvic floor area, the pubic bone, the hips, and you exhale, draw the belly in, draw the pelvic floor muscles in and up. And just try and find softness maybe in the thighs if you can. It can be quite strong when we're practicing this. So just being mindful of the whole body, softening the jaw, softening the forehead, just relaxing the shoulders down. Just keep working with your breath as you inhale, relax, exhale, drawing in and up, contracting the waist, the abdominals. Inhale, allow the belly to be soft and fill up. And exhale, draw in, up. Nice. Take the hands to the knees. We're just going to use the hands to support the knees back up. We're going to roll over onto our sides and gently bring ourselves back up. So you can practice these any time of the day, whatever works with you. A lot of them you can put to good use maybe on the sofa, maybe if you're in bed. It's just something you could be working on with your breath at any time of the day. And also it's good for partners. We should all be looking after our pelvic floor muscle. So all these poses are very useful for everybody. I've made sure that we can all use them. Let me know how you find it. Let me know if there's anything you need a bit more detail on or you'd like to see. I love to try and give you guys what you need, so I appreciate it when you do feedback to me. Thanks guys.